Hello, Kathy. How are you?
Hello, Raul. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm happy that it's Thursday, and so we are gonna talk about manifestation, how to
Yeah,
manifest.
one of my favorite subjects.
Yep, yep. And so many times I have heard, um, people that says I would like to manifest this, but what I had manifested never happened. Right? So that's the and people get disappointed. I myself, I have manifest many times I will sell my property, 783 Cascade, and it's not happening yet, but I know it will happen.
Yes.
So I think what I would like to ask you how to manifest so that things happen faster.
Now, wouldn't that be nice? Well, I think the key to manifesting quickly is two things. First of all, you have to truly believe that what you want to manifest could possibly be manifested. And number two, you have to be very, very clear on what it is you wish to manifest. Like the first house that I ever bought, I was in my late 20s and I decided it was time to stop living in an apartment and buy a house. And every weekend I went looking at houses. My gosh, Raul, I spent 2 or 3 months every weekend looking for houses. If I saw one I liked, I couldn't afford it. If I saw one I could afford, it was in a bad neighborhood. And I finally came home one Sunday and I was exhausted and I just sat in my chair and I thought, why is this so difficult? And then I remembered this friend of mine at church who said, well, I told the Lord that I wanted this, and there you go, I got it. I thought, how did she do that? And then I started wondering about it. And I thought, well, maybe if I can get clear on what it is that I truly want, maybe I'll find it quicker. So I closed my eyes and I imagined, what is my perfect house? Well, I wanted a 2 bedroom and not a three, like a little bungalow. I wanted it with a nice lot, a big tree in the front yard. And I wanted it close to where I worked. And I saw this dining room window with the sun coming in. And I thought that would really be beautiful, but I don't want to pay more than $35,000 for it. You can tell how old I am with that. And I said, okay, Lord, this is what I'm visualizing. And I thank you for showing me the way. Well, the very next day, I was sitting in a loan closing. I worked for a home builder. I couldn't afford his houses. And there was a real estate agent who had brought the couple in who bought the house. And my job was to go to the closing and get the loan closed. And while the attorney talked to the buyers, this realtor said, oh, by the way, I just got the neatest listing on this little old 2 bedroom house. And he began to describe my house. I said, really? And as soon as the closing was over, he took me to the house. It was 10 minutes from our office. Well, it was a beautiful front yard with a big oak tree. I walked into the living room and through there I saw the dining room window just the way I wanted it. And they were asking $35,000 for the house. Now I was floored, Raul. I could not believe this. So I'd been looking for months and I couldn't find it. But when I got clear on what I wanted, I got it the next day. And would you believe the second house? I did the same thing. I've been in this house for 30 years. And after looking for months, I finally put it in God's hands. And I just said, I don't even know what I want, Lord. You do it for me. The next day, the realtor called me and said, well, I found your house. Isn't that amazing?
That's that's amazing.
I know. I know. Truly amazing. And it's happened before. I had a function that they asked me to be a speaker at a function for the Home Builders Association way back when I was doing home building. I didn't have a dress to wear. Raul, I literally spent hours looking for a dress. I ended 50 miles away in the last shopping mall that was around in Georgia. And I couldn't find a dress that I liked. I was on my very last place to look. It was J.C. Penney. I never shopped at J.C. Penney's, but it was the last one in the store. And I was so tired, I just sat down at one of the seats in the lobby and I thought, oh man, this is my last one. And then I thought, well, what is it that I really want? Well, I closed my eyes and I visualized this dress that I wanted. And then I just stood up, walked into J.C. Penney's, went to the formal wear, was looking through the racks and didn't see anything. And I thought, well, that's it. It's over. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I turned around to leave, and the woman who worked there came walking out of the ladies' room with my dress. It was exactly the image that I had seen. And I quickly ran over to her and asked her about it. And she said, oh, yeah, somebody put this on hold, but they never came back. And it's such a good deal. It's marked down to $100. So I got my dress. And I thought, why did I wait so long to visualize what I really wanted? If I'd done this the first thing, who knows? I could have manifested it. You know what I mean? So it really does work. I can tell you that. I went shopping with one of my girlfriends. She had a business meeting that week and she wanted a new business suit to wear. And we went through the racks at Macy's. She saw a suit she really liked, but it wasn't in her size. She finally selected a suit and said, okay, I'm going to go try on a couple of suits. I don't really like them. And while she was in there, I said, you know what, Lord, wouldn't it be nice to give my friend the suit that she really likes? I am affirming that her suit is here in her size. So I'm manifesting it right now, and I'm going to go back and look. And I turned around and went back through the racks, and I found her suit in her size. Now, Raul, I knew we looked at that counter. We looked at that rack, and that suit was not there. But I took it to her. She was coming out of the ladies' room and kind of dejected. And I said, look what I found. It was her suit in her size. So I do know that after the first time that I tried manifesting, it got easier and easier. And I think if people can get clear on what it is they truly want, and I will tell you this much also, you may not want to hear this, so please don't get mad at me. If you affirm and you manifest and it doesn't happen, you know what I learned? Since God doesn't lie, what am I doing to block it? So I would have to ask myself, why has this not manifested? And I would ask for guidance. I would say, please, dear God, please, if there's something that is blocking this, can you please show me? Or do I have doubts about it? Am I afraid of something? And when I said that, usually I would get a message that told me what I was doing to block it. Because, Raul, God has set up the universe to respond to your every desires. If you get clear and you use the magic words, thank you, those are the magic words to use. If it doesn't happen, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing to block it? Because the universe is there. It's God set it up to work for us. And we have to ask ourselves that question. And a lot, you know who Wayne Dyer is. Well, he wrote a book called You'll See It When You Believe It. So once again, one of the issues could be people don't believe that it can happen. So I tell them to take baby steps. You know what I tell them to do? The first thing they can do? Affirm and manifest the perfect parking spot. Something as simple as a parking spot. Now, way back when my dad was in the hospital and I used to drive to see him every day after work, one particular day, I was so tired that I always had to walk like a mile where I parked to get to inside the hospital. And I was so tired that day, I said, you know what, Lord? Today I'm affirming a parking place right up front. And as I pulled into the hotel and I started up the driveway, there were no parking spaces. And I said, no, I'm not giving up on it. I want that parking space right up front. And as I came up to the front door, a car pulled out. And I whipped into that parking space and I said, thank you, God. And ever since that day, anytime, well, even Gary and I, when we go to lunch on Friday, as we drive to the restaurant that we eat at, we're always saying, thank you, God, for the perfect parking place. Well, this past Friday, I didn't see any parking places. And I said, well, I'm sorry, Gary, we're out of luck today. And Gary says, I'm going to drop you off at the front door. So he went down this aisle and came back around to drop me off. And right there, a car pulled out. So Gary whipped into the parking space. Works every time. So that would be, what I'd suggest. The first thing is to start affirming a perfect parking space. What do you have to lose? Works for me. Have you ever tried manifesting anything?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I I had manifest many times about what I would like to have as a partner, right? Um, when I say as a partner, I'm talking about a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
I never like I always manifested, but I it's like I was in a battle, like wanted to manifest it, but at the same time I don't want it to manifest it. It's like I know I wanted to have a meaningful relationship, but I was afraid as well. So that didn't work out, right? Because we all know that if you are afraid, you start having fear, and that emotion of fear is very low in vibration, and therefore that's not going to happen,
That's right.
right? So the moment I decided not to be afraid, not to be concerned, uh, that start manifesting, right? So I think that's what happened in my case in a romantic relationship that I have with a lady that lives in Brazil, right? Uh, and so I think that I did it, but I didn't know how to do it. And I think the problem that we have as human beings is that we don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to share what Joy Dispenza uh, did. He said a series of steps, and again, that I am sort of more like mystic, but I like to prove
Scientific.
scientific, right?
Yeah.
Let's try to break this down. This is a very nice paper, and it's kind of dense, but basically, I think this will allow us to understand things, and then with the mystic, we intersect, right? What is going on? So we all know we have heard the word atom, right? Which is a series of electrons that moves, right? And then if we take the electron has particles also that we all have here in the university. You take physics, you may have heard about neutrons, protons, right? And then if you take, for instance, a proton, and you try to look inside the proton, you will find a unit called quarks, right? So quarks are supposed to be the minimal particles of the matter, right? But the new physics, what I call the new physics, which is the quantum physics, has proof that basically quarks are a series of wave energies that moves, right? That moves, uh, and 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 so basically, what physics is telling us is that all of that energy that move are going to be moving faster or are going to be moving slower. The fastest or slower, and and this is where it intersects with the mystic, with what you are saying. When you have a love, what you say, love, appreciation, gratitude, and all of those emotions, right? Basically, what you are doing is you are elevating the wave. Like if you basically say you love, the energy is going to be moving faster, and eventually, when you visualize, you convert that thought, there is a thought of love or gratitude, and then you visualize, then it becomes matter, right? Because you are looking, it's like you are creating that reality. Your thought is creating that reality. Emotions are going fast. All of those, and that energy is going fast because we know that, um, uh, basically energy moves through wavelengths, right? And so when you start visualizing, you start like condensing that energy into matter again, right? This is so interesting because it's like you basically are using your thoughts, and if you have a positive thought, and that positive thought is energized by an emotion of love or appreciation, that's what you're going to get, right? It's like you are basically producing something that will materialize eventually. You are thinking about that continuously, right? And the very interesting part is, and this is what I, like people doesn't know how to manifest, and like I'm saying, I just care about the word manifestation, um, because I had friends that told me about. Now, this is just one technique that Dr. Joy Dispenza uses, but I am sure that there are other techniques.
Mhm.
Step number one is think clearly. So basically, what you just said. So in this one, you have to be very specific on what you want to manifest. Let's
Yes.
say I want to manifest that I will sell 783 Cascade, and I want the people that buy 783 Cascade, my property, to to buy it, but buy it in a project um, that do good for the community, right? And I want this business to be a hospital, right? Or like a center for rehab of drug addicts. So I am becoming very specific. So actually, that's what I really would like to happen. That will really, I will feel better if that happens. But then we are going to talk about the subconscious mind. But at least consciously, I am thinking that way. I'm being very specific. Step number one. Step number two is feel elevated. So basically, you are saying, "Oh, I got it." So I know I got it. I already know that 783 Cascade, the project that I have in the West End, is already sold, right? And then I'm gonna feel gratitude, joy, and love. Okay, that's so great that I sold it to an investor that wants to do good in the community. That that healthcare business will help so much. It will help so many people. And I start like visualizing how many people are going to go to this clinical center, so people are going to be treated, and that's so awesome. And then the step number three is maintain elevated. So basically, you are closing your eyes, you are visualizing now the people getting in, right? And then you're gonna start like, in a more meditation way, like when you close your eyes and you have to feel it in your heart that you are looking at people being cured, the people being safe, right? So, and then it's like you are within that movie that you are creating. So you
Yeah.
are inside that. And then step number four, you get surprised. And then every day you sort of visualize this today, tomorrow, and the next day, the next day, the next day. That you repeat this many times until that gratitude, love, emotions is going to materialize, right? And then obviously there are some reminders that they say that the stronger the elevated emotional gratitude, joy, and love is going to be faster, right? And this is what we were talking about, lower emotions like stress, lack, blame, anger will manifest things in the other direction. So
Yeah.
basically, it's not going to happen. So, so the bottom line is that when we start cultivating what they call elevated emotions, which is basically um, again, I like this picture now, elevated emotions. This is going to go faster. It's like going fast, right? And so that's why when we talk about, manifestation, if we follow these steps, I think we are energizing the manifestation itself or anything that you want,
Hmm.
right? And
Yep.
so that's what I took a lot of pictures, and obviously I can share this with for somebody that wants to get more information about it. I can just forward some of the research papers about manifestation, and there are a lot of of people that are looking into quantum physics, um, and then quantum physics basically. If you understand quantum physics, then you will be able to understand the law of attraction from the science point. And then when you merge with the mystic, that intersection is what really makes sense, because sometimes we are in so mystic that people say, well, it's like going to church. It's eventually like going to a priest. And it's good because you have to believe without seeing or proving. But then when you start like, start like trying to understand that, that we are source of energy and we create also electromagnetic wave that basically attract, you know, and then you start like maybe uh, in another podcast we can talk about entanglement, quantum entanglement. We would understand that what happens here. Is like when I think positively, and there is somebody that is receiving that your positive thoughts too, and then it's like both things are being connected. They are in synchronicity, and that's science, right? And that explains the law of attraction. What you think is what you attract. What you are, you attract, right? But that has also a scientific explanation of why this happened, right? So there are so many things, and I am very happy that we are starting with this manifestation first podcast, because then we can sort of get into the details, and so that's I think that as you know, I am very passionate when we talk about things that are very mystic, and then we're trying to sort of, with examples as you just provide, try to understand why. what's the how this happens, right? Um, but then one of the beautiful things about quantum physics is that it doesn't deny the existence of God, because God is a source of energy, right? It's the energy change, right? It transforms, but never dies, right? And that's what our Father, Celestial Father, God is, right? So He is. And then when people say, when we say God is love, it's because love is the energy with the most elevated frequencies,
Most
right?
powerful force in the universe.
Right. And what we are, basically, we are antennas. We are antennas. It's like a radio station. And then there is always, you know, energy coming. And depending on how you are tuned, you will pick it up. Right. And so, but everybody's connected because, it's like it's like a broadcast. It's a broadcast of love or energy, love energy, and then we are tuning, right?
Mhm.
But that's for a different discussion, because I know that will that will be more like, that will be more dense. But I
But you
think,
also need to understand, Raul, that a person could have a desire for a certain thing, whether it's a loving relationship or it's the perfect job or a perfect health, clearing up an issue, etc. But one of the things that I have learned, in because I'm a certified coach and I've coached a lot of people to, find their dreams. But in at least 2/3 of every single case, their core issues from their formative years, negative issues, baggage, is what is blocking them from getting it. And so a lot of times when people say, well, I tried this and it didn't work, when I start questioning them about their childhood, all of them say, I had a perfect childhood. Some of them, they had a really rotten childhood. But even those who thought they had a perfect childhood find out that there were issues, whether it was being made fun of in high school or something like that, or somewhere along the line you didn't get picked to be on a team in a sport. And
yep,
suddenly these issues are baggage that you have carried forth and that are blocking you from getting the desires of your heart. And since we know that God does not lie, God has promised us as a child of God, He has given us a birthright. That birthright includes good health, loving relationships, a job or a career you love, and abundance. They're ours. We don't have to earn it. It's a given. It's God's gift to us. If we're not getting it, we're blocking it. So a lot of people need to understand, if they try manifesting and it isn't working, ask for guidance about something from your previous childhood or whatever, some of your formative years that could be blocking you. And
yeah,
when we get those cleared, it's like the dam burst, and then they
right,
start manifesting.
right. Just to add, I know that we are exhausted our time, so that's why I like this podcast, because it's just 30 minutes, and then it keep people, you know, what are they going to talk now,
Yeah.
right? That's why we don't advertise anymore. We just is on the go, right? So everybody is like, okay, I want to hear more. Um, so the beauty of what we are doing when we talk about manifestation and why manifestation doesn't happen, and then it's because we don't know how to manifest. But what you just said is also how you can manifest something if you have issues from the past. It's going to block you.
Yeah.
It's not going to allow you to do the right manifestation, because in your subconscious mind, you are tied to your past. You are still with these past traumas, from your childhood, and that doesn't allow you to really be in the present. And when you're in the present is when you start manifesting powerfully.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the past, your manifestation is blocked. So that's one of the things that is also for matter of a podcast, because many people will say, hey, but how I cut the ties to the past? What are the techniques? Please teach me, because I cannot make it. I still feel depressed. I take medicines. I take medicine A, medicine B, medicine C. I am with my psychiatrist every day, but I don't know why I'm still depressed, right? And so I think that's a matter of another podcast, because there are
Mhm.
so many techniques, from
Yeah.
meditation, from consciousness, conscious analysis and consciousness analysis, from doctors, and also doctors and PhDs that are in the mystic. So that's what I am following. People that are having a very strong scientific degree, and they are coming to mystics, like they are doing any sort of meditation, that they are, like, talking about consciousness. And so more and more science is become on that, is jumping to the mystics, is jumping to the spirituality, like Mr. Dr. Joy Dispenza and others. So that's beautiful. And I think what you just said, Kathy, is something that is really an area that we can help,
Yeah.
because people doesn't know how to cut the ties to the past.
Hmm.
And then what the other thing that happen is how you become less anxious. There are people always with a lot of anxiety. They are always with anxiety, and and
Yep.
and, they don't, and that means that they are just thinking about the future now. They are
But the
thinking about the
problem,
future.
Raul, is what they don't understand is the anxiety comes about through wondering what bad things can happen. They don't realize that their thoughts create their reality.
Yeah.
So when you think about, oh no, what if this happens? And then sure enough, it happened. I've seen it over and over and over again. I was guilty of that too, until I discovered how powerful my thoughts and words are. So you need to learn to focus on what is it you truly want. And I find that is the hardest thing to get people to tell me. They come to me for coaching and they say, what if this happens, or I can't do that, la da 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 da. And I will say, what is it that you do want? Huh? What? Well, I don't know. You can tell me what you don't want, so that's what you keep manifesting. But you need to focus on what it is you do want. And that is also another issue to manifesting. Get clear on what you do want and push away all the reasons it won't happen.
Yep, I agree. Because when you manifest, you need to be in the present. When you
Mm-hmm.
manifest, you need to be in the present. And by the way, your kitty behind you is beautiful.
Yes, this is Toby.
Hey, Toby.
He's my baby.
All right. So we are wrapping up now. We exceed our time. Um, any last word about manifestation?
I just put it out there. Give it a try. The next time you need to find a parking place, as you're going to your destination, just be saying, I affirm the perfect parking place. Thank you for this perfect parking place right up front to the door I'm going into. Give it a
Yeah.
try. What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Try
Yeah.
small, something small, and then you ease into the bigger stuff.
Absolutely. And for me, I'm gonna basically tell you, please take a photo of this. Take a photo of Dr. Joy Dispenza. Do a click, take a photo, and it explains clearly how to manifest. In summary, think clearly, feel elevated. That means that you have to have gratitude, joy, love, and everything, and start visualizing what you want with those feelings.
Yep.
Then, step number 3 is visualization now, but then you're going to close your eyes. You're going to be in a position of manifesting. You're going to, there are many ways to manifest. Of meditation, the one that I like is when you are like sitting down straight and start like looking at your breathing patterns from that air that comes to your nose and then flow of the air through your nostrils. Step number 4, get surprised. It's like take it as it already happened and be surprised. Oh, this happened, right?
Mhm.
And keep visualizing that is already done. That's already done. That's already done until you are surprised. And if that doesn't happen for some reason, keep doing this again from step 1 to 4, maybe with another project, right? Because maybe that was not meant to be. But don't get disappointed because something better is coming your way.
Yeah.
All right. So I just want to finish saying everybody uh, goodbye. God loves you, and the most powerful force in the universe is love. So
Absolutely.
love everybody, love yourself,
Hmm.
and have an awesome days. And I'll see you on Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.